In the Abruzzo and Molise regions by the Adriatic Sea, the Samnites first practiced the seasonal migration of their flocks thousands of years ago. A number of splendid cities were founded here, such as the Roman town of Sepinum. Continuing south along the Ionian coast, we come to Policoro, a centre of the indigenous culture that was then absorbed into Magna Grecia. In the superb National Museum, there is the tomb of the painter of Policoro. The Etruscans were great merchants who imported superb pottery from Attica in Greece. Here is the famous Euphronius crater, stolen from the necropolis of Cerveteri to the north of Rome. It ended up in the Metropolitan Museum of New York, now on display at the Etruscan Museum of Villa Giulia in Rome. The city of Milan, which the Romans called Mediolanum, literally the Middle Land, was of equal strategic importance. The 27 elegant Corinthian columns, known as the Colonne di San Lorenzo, continue to remind us of Milan's role as a Roman colony. In Rome there are, of course, so many significant monuments that it is almost impossible to count them. They range from the historic Mulvian Bridge, where Constantine defeated Maxentius in 313 AD, and further south on the right bank of the Tiber, the mausoleum of the Emperor Hadrian, which later became Castel Sant'Angelo, the refuge and fortified residence of the popes. Far to the south, near Andria in Apulia, there stands the unique octagonal castle of Castel del Monte, built by the Holy Roman Emperor, Frederick II, according to a highly original plan. In the wonderful towns of Tuscany, a great civilization of independent communes preceded the domination of the lords known as signorie, and civic and patrician towers of brick and stone were raised with pride, as in the walled hilltop town of San Gimignano. The national parks of Italy are another extraordinary resource, and they now amount to 20. We are now in the Park of the Dolomites, between Trento, Bolzano and Belluno, and they go right down to the Parco del Pollino in Calabria. Together with the regional parks, they represent another patrimony for tourism of amazing natural beauty. Another extraordinary period for Italian art and culture has now begun, the Renaissance. In Venice, a school of painting developed which lasted for centuries. It involves the greatest masters of colour and light, above all Giovanni Bellini, whose impressive altarpiece of San Zaccaria we can see here. In Florence, the paintings of the young Masaccio, who died at the age of 27, inaugurated a whole new era for art. Here we see his fresco of the Trinity in Santa Maria Novella. At the Museum of the Accademia, crowds of visitors constantly flock to see the harmonious and powerful forms of Michelangelo's David. The artist was born at Caprese in the valley of the Tiber, near Arezzo. Everything in this period was then summed up by Rome's enormous Basilica of St. Peter, the most massive and impressive church that had ever been built, to which Raphael and above all Michelangelo contributed their plans and ideas, as well as working in the Vatican. Mannerism is the style that followed the Renaissance. In the early 17th century, the classical period of the Carracci brothers from Bologna, as well as Guidoreni, Guercino, Algardi and Domenichino, whose fresco of Saint Cecilia in the church of San Luigi dei Francesi in Rome can be seen here, was brought to an end by the rebellious genius Caravaggio. In Rome, he established a completely new manner of painting, and his work seems to explode in the city's churches. Here we are in San Luigi dei Francesi again. In architecture, the new style of the Baroque revolutionized Rome's buildings, where we can admire the contrasting creative flair and feeling for magnificence of two authentic geniuses, Francesco Borromini from Canton Ticino in Switzerland, and the Neapolitan extrovert Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Their creations stand face to face in Piazza Navona and various other places in the city centre. The metaphysical and then classical paintings of Giorgio de Chirico inspired the rationalist movement in architecture. Here we see his mysterious painting, The Disquieting Muses. 20th century art proceeds with the more restrained work of Giorgio Morandi, a reclusive painter and printmaker, to whom Bologna has dedicated an entire museum. The best finale for this rapid overview of art in Italy? What could be better than the new Auditorium of Rome, designed by Renzo Piano? Successfully inaugurated at the start of the third millennium, it has become one of the most popular concert halls in Europe. Music of all kinds is performed here, but the building's true raison d'etre are the concerts of the world's oldest musical academy, that of Santa Cecilia, founded by Pierluigi da Palestrina in 1585.